Tenemos una discordia que es una locura. What's up, guys? It's Mr. Fit to Flourish, and this is a recap of today, 5/29/2024, May 29th, the market recap, as well as our daily replay of SPY and some of the plays that we took today. So today, the market fell out of the sky. I feel like I've been saying this quite a bit lately. And let's go back to the charts to see exactly what happened. So we talked about this on the previous video of how this big red bearish engulfing candle is a repeat of history. And we might see history repeat again. So every time SPY gets to these all-time highs, what happens is it forms this massive bear bar, this bearish engulfing bar. We get an inside-outside, inside bar formation. And then we have a couple more days inside. We have a little bar that rejects off of, it looks like it rejects off of a VWAP and then it sells off. So if we go back here, we get inside, outside. We have 3 days of this inside stuff with massive wicks, and then we kind of just sell off from here. And then if we go back even more to another high, we get the same thing. We get this inside, outside, inside bar formation. We try to push back up to VWAP and we reject. So we've had this happen a few times. We can go back even more, but I'm not going to waste any time. So we talked about this last time, how we might see another massive sell-off. And what happens is we get about a 5%, a 4 to 5% retracement. So if we pull out our price range tool here from this bottom, from this low, we're expecting what would be a 4 to 5% retracement, which would take us pretty close to these lows here. And what I'm thinking is that we'll probably see that retracement to this previous move up. And if not, then we'll get it even more, which would be pretty pronounced, all the way down to about these lows, down to this low order block here. So that is one thing to be on the lookout for. But what happened today with SPY? So today SPY actually gapped down. And why did it gap down? Well, there was some news of the Fed with their concerns on interest rates staying higher for longer. So the Fed Kashkari actually made a comment this morning and said that, hey, he thinks that we should probably keep interest rates higher for longer, and interest rate cuts are not really in the picture. So whenever the market gets rate hikes, or we say higher for longer, that's very hawkish from the Fed. And that causes markets to tank. Money rolls into bonds, T-bonds, treasury bills, and all that good stuff. But when we get rate cuts, that's when the markets go fanatic, stocks go up. So after this NVDA reporting earnings and everything, well, the market was kind of in a rally kind of due to that, kind of following NVIDIA. And now we're sort of seeing a divergence. And this is kind of scary because NVIDIA is still kind of moving to the upside while everything else is just kind of falling off. So as we talked about with this reference bar here, with this massive bear bar, we're probably looking to sell off here, and we're going to get about a 4 to 5% retracement. And if we do have good news, because Friday we do have core PCE, if that comes in better than expected, because the Fed has already said that we're really looking at economic indicators. If that comes in better than expected, and we're still trading around this 525, then we'll probably see a move up. But currently, post-market SPY is at 524. It's really not looking good. So what I'm going to be doing is, if we open up below this low here, below this double bottom, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking to fade any upside move. So if we get a move to the upside, I'm going to be looking to fade it. Today was very, very choppy on the SPY. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame. I did not trade SPY at all today, which is kind of weird because I usually trade SPY, but we just had these triangle formations. We had to move up, move down, move up, move down. And this was in a pretty tight range, 527 to about 526. So not really a whole lot you could do there except scalp in terms of options, because of course I trade options. So we're just moving up and down. I don't even want to recap this here. We had a massive gap down. We were trading below VWAP, which was below the 20 MA. So it's very bearish, but we still had the bull stepping in, trying to defend this low level here, this low from the massive Maribozu bar, massive bear bar. So we just traded sideways pretty much all day. So let's get into some of the other trades that we took here. So we took a couple trades here on AMD. So the first trade that I ended up taking on AMD. So the first trade I ended up taking here on AMD was the move to the upside here, and it was pretty much, we had a massive sell-off in the beginning of the day with AMD, just kind of like we did with everything else. We gapped down, then had a pretty pronounced sell-off. I saw this micro double bottom form, and I'm going to be making a video on reversals. I've stated it in multiple videos that if you get a micro double bottom and you have this massive wick here at the bottom, it shows signs of buyers stepping in. So we're getting buyers stepping in here. So we had buyers step in here. So I took calls right over here. We consolidated for a little bit. This is also a high probability play here, because we held this hold level pretty well and then moved back to the upside. We had this bear bar reject off of the VWAP. So we tested VWAP, rejected, wicked down into this low order block, and then we ended up continuing to the upside. So we continued to the upside. I ended up getting out somewhere around here, close to this hold level down, just because this was moving really, really slow, and it was only up about 24%. So at first, I was down. Let me show here. Yeah, so I was down about 4%. My Amazon calls, so the Amazon calls were swing calls from yesterday that I had called out on TikTok. So if you don't already, go ahead and follow the TikTok. I think I called them out on here as well, saying that Amazon was setting up. But Amazon calls were up pretty big. It ended up going 83%, but I only screenshotted 71%. But yeah, that was that. But yeah, took these calls on AMD and then got out with a little 24% gain. Wasn't really much going on there with AMD. But yeah, Amazon, just took a small position on Amazon, and that went up pretty nicely. And then, like I said, took those calls on AMD. Then what we were looking for was the fade on AMD. So we saw the double top form. So let me go back to the tab there. Saw this double top form on AMD. Take all this stuff off the screen. This double top formed here. We did have a lot of consolidation and fake outs, but after this double top, I was like, you know what, I think I might be getting in on puts. So I ended up waiting for a break below here, below these lows here, because we had so many fake outs right here. I said, once we break below this low, I'm going in. So got in somewhere around right here. So right after the formation of this Maribozu bear bar, this is a nice push to the downside. We were trading below VWAP and below the 20 MA, which is always my signal to get in. And we formed a double top. So it looked like buyers were capitulating, giving up, and we had that massive move to the downside. So it was a nice little gain. I think it was like a 30% gain. It was really quick, solid move on 531. I got the 160 puts. So those were super cheap. Got a bunch of those and made a good bang for my buck. And then the last play that I wanted to talk about was the Amazon play that I was talking about earlier. So yeah, I just sized in just a small size on that play and was able to make 83%. And the reason that I wanted to get in on Amazon calls was that we were holding this psychological level. It was the 180 level. So we were holding the 180 level for a couple days. We like dipped into it, then bounced up. Every time we got down here, we bounced to the upside. So yesterday I said, hey guys, let's get in on 180 calls. So down here we got in on calls. We had a VWAP crossover, or not a VWAP crossover. We crossed over this orange line, which is the 50 MA. And after a crossover of the 50 MA, we typically move pretty dramatically to the upside. And I looked previously on Amazon. It looks like it's been respecting the 50 MA, except for this anomaly here. But it's been respecting it. We're in this downward wedge, so I'm expecting that move to the upside. And we did. We rode this from 180 all the way up to 184 today, and that got us an 83% gain on the 6/7, so June 7th expiration. What was it? The 187.5 calls. So it was these calls here. Let me go back to this guy here. Yeah, so it was the June 7th 187.5 calls. So just a small amount, but was able to pretty much double my money on that play there. And then another, or was it? Amazon 531. Okay, and then this play was the puts that we took today that I wanted to talk about on Amazon. So I ended up going in with 100 contracts on Amazon puts and ended up going pretty crazy on this play here. So let me go back to Amazon again. So I saw that Amazon moved pretty dramatically to the upside, and I was like, okay, I'm out here because we had previous resistance there. So previous resistance here twice. So that is, I literally almost got out at like literally the top. So I got out at 184.02, and it went all the way up to 184.09, but got out there. We had seller step in, as you can see here, seller stepping in. Then we made a double top here, and that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for a double top and then a VWAP crossover. Okay, a VWAP crossover. So I ended up getting in here right over here on the VWAP crossover a little bit early. I'd like to get in after it crosses below, but got in pretty early here and just let it ride. And once I saw that we hit the 50 MA, I was like, okay, well, what's going on? Are we going to continue to the downside? And I backed this out and I saw that we just hit a downward trend line. So we broke out of this trend line, retested it here, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to see what's going on. We hit an apex point pretty much. This is the 50 MA and also the downward trend line. And not only that, but this was a perfect Fibonacci retracement. Okay, it was a perfect Fibonacci retracement. I was like, yo, we need to get out of here. So I ended up telling everybody in my Discord, hey, we need to get out. So we ended up getting out here. So yeah, really good plays today. Had a lot of fun because we were taking solid plays. We weren't antsy or anything. It was just taking solid plays and making good money. So if you guys have any questions, if you want to see more of these recaps, let me know. But I'm gonna continue to pump these out pretty much every single day. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Y'all stay fit to flourish, stay fit physically, mentally, financially. It's your boy, Mr. Fit to Flourish, and I'm out. Good morning, welcome to the Fit to Flourish podcast. Let's talk wellness, finance, and